I was providing a consult to a client last night, and they told me all slots channels, all slots YouTube channels say don't play a machine showing a win. And my response was twofold. First, I said, not mine. And second, I said, great. May they never cease saying that. Otherwise, the secret would get out and everyone would know to do the opposite. How's that? Well, most slots players somehow believe that if a slot machine pays out, then it's not going to pay out again for a long, long time. This is like another perpetual myth, which says keep playing your slot machine even if you're losing, because it has to pay out sometime. And those two perpetual myths are just, no, sorry. The gaming regulations in most states say otherwise. I've talked about the terrible gaming regulations in Pennsylvania and Mississippi, where casinos can't set any individual slot machine over 100% on its theoretical payout setting per wager. But then the great thing about Pennsylvania and Mississippi, that's a terrible thing, but the great thing is that they have a minimum theoretical payout setting per wager, which an individual slot machine can't be less than. So, okay, these two U.S. states where you can just keep playing, these two U.S. states are where you can just keep playing, and the game regulations say you can eventually win. Not that you will win more than you are betting. No, sorry, but that eventually you'll win something. But that's just Pennsylvania and Mississippi. Another common misunderstanding is learning something about your state's gaming regs and then telling everyone far and wide that's how slot machines work, when in fact that's only how they work in the states with that gaming regulation. I got, guys, one of my cats had the other cat pinned. Sorry for the interruption, guys. Sure, here's a toy. Play with that. Okay. Interruptions. Okay, so, I got a comment this week from someone who said you can find the payout for your slot machine in the game rules. And you can. In Oregon, it's a state law that each machine's payout must be in the game rules on that machine. Further, in Oregon, you can find the payout online at the State Gaming Commission if you know the name of the game you want to play. But that's Oregon. And, slot machines are not like table games. If you play Texas Hold'em or Mississippi Stud, the odds are based on the rules of the game. Change the rules, and you change the odds. So you can play Texas Hold'em, roulette, craps, blackjack, anywhere, on the moon even, and the odds will be the same because the rules are the same, even if the dice bounce higher on the table at a casino on the surface of the moon. If the rules don't change, the odds don't change. But that's table games, not slot machines. Every state has different gaming regulations for slot machines, by a little or a lot. And every casino has different choices they can make that still comply with those state gaming regs. But when it comes down to it, two identical looking slot machines side by side at your casino, say a whole row of your favorite slot machines like Lightning Link or Dancing Drums or a version of Buffalo, that row only looks like identical slot machines. Internally, the casino can choose to set the theoretical payout setting anywhere they want, as long as it's within the state gaming regulation limits, if it has any limits. My advice when deciding which slot machine to play in a row of identical machines is to pick the one on the end of the row. Or if it's a carousel, the one pointed at a nearby cafe, entrance, or other casino landmark. And also the machine on the other side of that carousel, as the casino is trying to generate excitement, not just in those people coming from that landmark, but also going to that landmark. How do I say this next bit? Let me try this. I'm not making this stuff up. I'm not an entertainment channel telling you what you want to hear to get more views and popularity. I'm not an entertainment channel pretending to be an education channel telling you what everyone says and the exact opposite 30 seconds later so that everyone will hear somewhere what they want to hear and they can just ignore hearing the opposite. Yes, that's how you grow a channel and make money, even when you say that you're not doing that. Isn't the world great? It's just crazy. But telling people only what they want to hear isn't helping them. A few fans in Pennsylvania, Mississippi have been shocked and dismayed by what I've shown them is in their state gaming regs concerning maximum theoretical payout limit for every wager, and that their casinos there are not allowed to let you win on a few highly visible slot machines in their casinos, which are set up to offer a few wins for a few hours to generate excitement in everyone right around the times when players start to get angry because nobody's winning and then want to go home on a busy Friday night. You can actually see and hear this in your casino. I mean, if you look around. I was delighted during last night's consultation when they said they'd seen some of what I talk about at casinos before finding my channel. Again, I'm not making this stuff up. My channel hasn't gotten as large as it has by telling you nonsense. It's gotten this large because you look around for what I pointed out in my uploaded videos, live streams, podcasts, and demo videos, and you're like, oh my God, I see it too. But changing your slot machine gambling habits by clearing out so many perpetual myths takes time. It's not hard if you're, being paid to do it. If it's not hard when you do it and you get paid because you win on a slot machine. But the burden comes when you start winning, because now you need to learn how to leave with your winnings. That was never a problem before because you never had the opportunity to learn that. Now, some people are really good at it, probably because of life experiences. I've talked to them about it, and they had, things that they've done in their life where they got that under control. But most, they never had the opportunity. So, it was never an issue because you've mostly lost. I've gotten so many thank yous and I appreciate you comments from players that are now profitable at playing slots. And I'm so happy for them. Well done, you. And for newbies to my channel, take those comments as inspiration and hope. Your slots journey has taken the right step forward. Enjoy the path you're now on. If I can help, just let me know. This live stream is your opportunity to ask questions. I usually start off with a topic, kind of a short one today, inspired by your questions from past live streams and comments, questions, and conversations with you, consultations like last night. And Slots Labs is up and running. We're entering our second week next week. It's been fantastic. Great group of people. If you're part of that, you're a great group of people. And if you have a question, start asking here. And if you're in Slots Labs, we have that community and for you to ask questions there. And I want to mention to everybody, if you go to Kashada. I think I mentioned this before. They have a location where, let me see, I might be able to do this. Right. If you go to Kashada, it's a tribal casino in Louisiana, under casino, and you go to slot machines, there is now, you usually have to reduce the size of this in order to be able to see it, but they've added this little icon. It looks like an advertisement, but actually it's pointing you to something that's not here. I could probably show you. Now it's there, recent jackpots. So it's only under the mobile version of the website. So it went away, but you can click on this sort of, and you can come to this long list of the hand pays, W2G hand pays for the last month. And tomorrow it'll be the last month, and then next month it'll be the last month. So it drops off a day when it adds a day. And right now it's all the way up to today at 4:54 a.m. Eastern time this morning. So maybe 6 hours ago. So they keep it pretty up to date. And so it's the time and date stamp, the Mount 1, the ID of the machine, the name of the machine, the denomination of the machine, and also the map location, if you click on it, right there in the casino. But it's only the last month. If you're taking slot slabs, I am sharing. I started collecting this data. You should too. You should too. I started collecting this data, and I now have 14 months. I have it from May, middle of May, 2022, last year. So I offer that 14 months. And one thing I wanted to point out to people who are tracking this, and you should, is look at this right here. Look at that. A $1 denomination machine, progressive, so it probably has $1, $2, $5, $10 maybe. Not in the high limit room, because it's the high limit room is HD. You see an HD down here. But this is out on the main casino floor and the BK location, which I could click on in a moment. But look at the size of that jackpot. Look at the size of that progressive on Zotar. Funny story, one of my professors for my doctorate in aerospace engineering, his favorite name was Zoltar. So he used that for his email and all these other things. I'm like, is that professional? He's like, I like it. So this is the win on the progressive, which I went back through, and I'm going to share this with the Slot Slabs people because this is only what I found out about this morning. This is the third highest progressive jackpot won in 14 months. The next one down, 115,000. So this is like, you know, if you know anything about grands, if you've studied it just a little bit, it can be years between people winning those. So one of the things I want to do is take a look at the data analysis that I have for 14 months and see if anybody won this grand or whatever the highest level progressive is. See if anybody won it in the last 14 months. Probably not. Other people that I know have won a 45,000 clients have won a $45,000 grand, $45,000 and change grand, and the casino told them it had been 4 years since anybody had won it. So these are all things we talk about in Slot Slabs, but I wanted to mention to everybody, look at the size of that. And if I will make it a little bit bigger here for you. So right there. And if I click on this, it will bring you to right there. Oh, over by the cashier. Who would have guessed? People waiting in line saw that happen. Oh my goodness. I'm laughing because that's one of my strategies. And I want to thank Chuck for his donation. Chuck says, morning all, sunny in St. Louis. It's sunny here in Reno, Nevada, where I moved last year. Although we did have hail yesterday, pea-size hail. I know. It's something about having mountains nearby. And I also want to thank Magpie. She says, good morning, winners. Thank you for your donation. It's very much appreciated. Thank you so much. And thank you also to my moderators. And also wanted to say hello to Mary Ellen. She says hi to everybody. Robert says hi to everybody. And Frenzy says hi. Thank you for your donations via the Cash App. The dollar symbol, Professor Slots, if you're interested in that. Zelle these are no fee ways to give donations. Zelle would be my email, jon@professorslots.com. Chris H is here. Hi, Chris. And Slots of Fun, who has his own channel in North Carolina, is here. I just call him Fun, and looks like, and yeah, I hope that winner here left with the winnings. What do you think? Would they have? Maybe not. Yeah. And Linda is here from San Diego. Welcome, Linda. You're in the same time zone as me. So Richard has a question. I happen to know Wise Version Slots Tips Guru is Richard. Hi, Richard. Hashtag question. Following casino data dynamics and pattern recognition is everything. Did you miss anything on this paraphrase? Did I miss anything on this paraphrase? Most people don't care. The simple explanation is best. Yes, I can talk and you can't understand a word. I could do that. Talk about probability distributions, talk about various, volatility and how that's actually deviation, which is another term for variance. And this, it just goes over people's heads. And that doesn't help anybody. So what I learned from teaching, and I've done a lot of teaching, complicated things, that is, you want to get the point across, and you don't have to use big words to sound impressive and help no one. I mean, I know people who teach who do that. They're just like, they're there for themselves to feel good about their lives, even though it seems to be kind of hard for them to feel good about their lives. Yeah, and if you have a YouTube channel, and this is one of the things I've been thinking a lot about lately, there are plenty of people who have YouTube channels that die after a year or two. Some don't even last 6 months. And there are a lot of slots channels that have come out because so many casinos are giving permission to record. And those channels, if they don't love what they do, if they're just in it for the money, they'll fade away. You don't do things for money. I mean, short term, sure, but people will do that. But to really go the distance, you need to enjoy what you're doing. Have some reason that you feel you're helping your audience. Yeah. So just something to think about. Yeah, casino data dynamics, pattern recognition. Sure. Please don't use words that where you're trying to impress people, unless you actually have. What I do is just say, look at the data. Isn't that wonderful? Hit there. I don't talk about having pivot tables to determine which slot machine at Kashada has had the most hand pays. I don't talk about a different way to use pivot tables. I do for the people who are interested in this, because we're really focused on it. Which game, not which machine, but which game has had the most hand pays in 14 months? Maybe go play it. But I've had clients who went and played it, and guess what? You can't get on the machine because everybody at the casino knows it's the one that pays out. So I try to make things practical. If you go to the fifth most popular machine, maybe you can get on it. These are the strategies that go with Kashada. So if you are going to Louisiana to Kashada, all this data is good for you. But if you are anywhere else, and I talk about this in Slots Labs extensively, these hand pays, which are for the progressive jackpots, you can learn something from these, which applies at your casino, because Casinos don't set the limits, the external must hit by. I'm sorry if I'm talking over your head. I've kind of mentioned this in the past, and if you're new, then you may not have heard this. There is a label on the outside of some slot machines. It's 16 of them at Atlantis, 5 of them are in the high limit room, and 11 on the main casino floor, which have an external label next to the progressive jackpot saying must win by, must hit by, that sort of language, and it can't go over that number. So you play it when it gets close. Other people play it when it gets, other people are playing it. It gets close, and then you play it, and it gets to be really like a lot of people get together in a gang. Gang's such a terrible word, but groups of people will be tracking these things, and then when you get close to that number, they'll go up to you and blow smoke in your face or whatever and get you off that machine, for whatever reason. And so that's all difficult, dealing with all of that. And I've had clients talk to me about what just trying to get away from all that, and what you can do. And I'm going to switch back to this. What you can do is go into the game rules and see the label there. I call this the internal must hit by. Please check your slot machine. And in Slots Labs, I've checked not all 2,000 at my casinos, 2,000 slot machines per casino at the 3 casinos I tend to go to here in Reno. There's another 10 I haven't gone to enough. And I've looked in the game rules myself, and I found this, and I documented it, and I share it with people in Slots Labs. But I haven't found all of them. So, you play your machine, check it. And then all that strategy that I have that I talk about, my free content, having to do with winning progressives, you become a specialist at that. This is how you do it. I see a couple of comments here, so I'll move on. Richard, thank you for the question. And Tom says, "Hi, John. Did you have time to experience hot August nights?" Is that one of the promotions taking place in Reno? Because there's like this antique car show that's going on yesterday. It's just a lot of people. And I was out running some errands on Ubers and got backed up in traffic. Saw a person on a motorcycle get off the motorcycle at an intersection and try to break the passenger's driver's side window in a car next to them. And the person tried to get out of the car, and they prevented that. And it was, if you're talking about just kind of like violence, I'd never seen that before in my life. And yeah, they were upset about something. But I think, yeah. So 1st August in Reno. My eyes are wide. So I haven't gone. There's a lot of events. I guess the hot air balloons that Reno is famous for is coming up yet. That's an event. So there's lots, and then Labor Day weekend a month from now is what is it? I want to say Fireman, but that's not quite right. The thing out in the desert. I want to say Fireman. I certainly haven't been to that because I haven't been here since I haven't been here a full year, and it's coming up. But that sounds like fun. But there's a lot of things I could be doing, and I'm not. And Linda says, I've been winning smaller jackpots from Megabucks and won minor bucks. Good for you. And for the draw lottery, there's not a technique for that unless you can find out whether a win that it's not really a technique for that. There is one for scratch tickets. Depending on the system, sometimes the state lottery will tell you how many wins are remaining in the remaining tickets for a particular scratch off game. And if there aren't any, then you don't play it. But if there are, and there's only a few left, you go buy a bunch of them. and that's people have won serious amount of money by just following the gaming regs, like we do here for slots. Now, I am in Nevada. In case you don't know, I can't buy Powerball or Megabucks in the state of Nevada. Nobody can. And it gets really busy at the gas stations just on the other side of the border from Nevada. And so, yeah, just one of those things. Sandman says, people definitely know which machines pay out and camp at them. Yeah, right? They don't even have to be fans of me. Yeah. Oh, yes, please remember to like this live stream. We're trying to influence the central server at YouTube. And, if you like what I've said so far today, please like this. It will encourage YouTube to send more people our way to get this good information and be aware of perpetual myths out there and just be, better off. The more people help, the better. Although maybe we shouldn't tell everybody that they should play a machine showing a win instead of not playing a machine showing a win, because we really want to keep that secret. Thank you, Serenity, for the update. I have a cat right here. I have a cat right there that's looking very cute, and she's kind of doing this and kind of lying down. And then there's another one that's over there. And he's just chilling now, but before they were sort of like wrestling. I'm not going to interrupt her sleep and hold her up to you. Maybe later they'll show up. And Suzanne says, I try to get off a machine that way. I'm not moving. Yeah. Just as long as, heart wants what the heart wants. Have fun. Pit the Black had asked Linda Kay, where does she go in San Diego? And Pachanga shares his response. Tom says, yeah, a week-long event at all the casinos. Yeah, I most noticeable to me was the all the car shows going on all over the place. Yeah. Ideal event. Car shows usually attract mucho high rollers, and they pad the machines and see more payouts. Or they just collect money. It's like Las Vegas and California comes to visit on the weekend. Yeah, it's like hitting a wall for the locals. The locals know better than to play during those times. But Burning Man, thank you. Thank you, Leland. Burning Man, that's right. That's coming up. Hot air balloons and Burning Man nearby. I had no idea it was in Nevada. All right, sorry for the distraction. But Richard, if everybody's winning, there's an opportunity. But if you hear the wins stop, and nobody's left, it's the same number of people. That's statistically impossible. It's a business plan. It's a casino plan. And, then you stop. And please look at your watch. And if you happen to notice it's on the hour or on the half hour, when that happens, well, you'll figure it out. Burning Man, thank you. Elizabeth, appreciate that. So ask your questions and descriptions of kitty sight. Okay. Descriptions of kitty sightings that don't count as a sighting. Just saying. Okay, I'm going to wake her up. So pardon me while I grab her. Yep, her eyes are like blinking. Yeah, hello, Serenity. All right, you go back to sleep. There you go. That is Hetty, a female calico. She's a little small because she had some a difficult time when she was a kitten herself and barely an adult and had kittens, and she was wild. And I loved her when I saw her and took her home from the shelter. And her name is Hetty, for Hetty Lamar. I name most of my pets after a scientist. Hetty Lamar was also a black and white film star that Walt Disney drew his inspiration for Snow White from. Black hair, red lips, pale face, and me wow. Yes, thank you. It's lots of fun for that. I have a special icon which members can use with a cat face, smiley face. Yeah, and now she's walked away, so I can't pick her up. And she was very forgiving, and I do love her to pieces. So she's named after Hedy Lamarr, who was a black and white film star, but also the inventor, U.S. patent co-inventor. Two people invented Wi-Fi. You know, Wi-Fi. And she invented with a co-inventor Wi-Fi, as well as was the inspiration to Walt Disney for Snow White. and a few other things. There's an interesting, I think it's called Bombshell, and it might be on Amazon. I'm not sure, maybe Netflix, that talks about her life. Yeah, it's just what an amazing woman. And I'll tell you about Emil Lenz, my male large gray. He might be 15 pounds at this point. He's not fat. He's just big. Like Elon Musk, his favorite wrestling method is to lie on them, or at least that's what he said on what was formerly known as Twitter. And Tom says there's a rib fest in Reno on Labor Day. My daughter is going to be taking me out for dinner. I think it's next weekend. Yes, next weekend. She knows all the best places to eat in Reno because she lives nearby. And I was like, where do you want to go? And I'm like, I've been. I will tell you the one place I've been, and anywhere else. So I don't know quite where she will go. She took me the last time we went to the Reno food truck Friday that they have throughout the summer. And I was just like, I've never eaten at a food truck, much less 25, 30 of them in a park. So that was awesome. I met the in-laws, her in-laws too. Frenzy says, got a cat myself, great companion. Yep. And so it's going to be a short live stream today. Linda has a question. Okay, good. I have noticed when I choose a higher denomination like 5 cents, I see the payout lower. All right. And when you drop to a lower denomination like 2 cents, your payout is higher. Can you give your thoughts on this? Yes. We see the return statistics from 7 U.S. states that have broken down their monthly reports. There's 20 altogether that have monthly reports, but 7 of those 20 break them down by slot machine denomination. And we can see penny slots are the worst. But is 5 cent better or is 2 cent better? And it depends on your state. I mean, there tends to be, there's this perpetual myth that the higher the denomination, the better the odds, which is just like total bollocks. Sorry, I don't usually use the word bollocks. And it's just this perpetual myth that people like because it's confused with another statistical statement, which is I could never win the $150,000 top jackpot if I bet penny slots. Yeah, not that you have a better chance of winning 150,000, but if you make an 88-cent bet on a penny machine, if you look in the pay table, you can see that the maximum might be 10,000. So you can't win anything more than that because it's not available on the pay table. So people are like, well, if I bet more, a higher denomination, then it opens up the possibility of being able to win more. And I'm like, absolutely. So it has better odds. What? That's what you got from my statement? No. And people want to win more and chase wins. And it's a common phenomenon. That's one of the biggest areas of not being able to leave you through winnings. So yes, what I haven't done, there's so many demo videos I need to do. Sit down at a multi-denomination machine. You can put it on the penny denomination, 2-cent denomination, 5-cent denomination, 10-cent denomination, and on each of those, run the 5-spin method. Should be really obvious which one has the better odds. But it could be any of them. It is not going to be the best at the highest, unless it is for that particular case. I mean, there's a 1 in 4 chance, right? Not definite, just 1 in 4, because there's 4 denominations. One of them is going to be better. And if one of them isn't obviously better, move on to the next machine. And then you found out which of those. I mean, you're basically talking about it now. I have noticed that the 5-cent, I see the payout lower, and then I go to a 2-cent, and I see the payout is higher. You know, if you want to do that efficiently, quickly on multi-denomination machines, just run the 5-spin method on each of those denominations, and it should be obvious. And if it isn't obvious, move to the next machine. And then because, I can't tell you what it will be because it's the casino's choice, and they operate within the gaming regulations. Yeah. I mean, I can tell you how to card count, at blackjack, not that I'm an expert at it, and it would work. Even though I'm in Nevada and you might be in Pennsylvania, it'll work if you don't get kicked out. So you can, table games, we could talk, if I lived on the moon, we could talk, but not slots. But yes, 2-cent is different from 5-cent. It can be, probably is, and check your machine, each individual machine. Yeah. That was funny, Serenity. Descriptions of kitty activity don't count as a sighting. I need to do more training. Up here. Come on, up here. No. They're just looking at me like, I'm not moving over there. Frenzy says, got a cat myself, great companion. Buffets. Gary knows what kind of buffets I like, that I like buffets. I will give up a point or two, and I've said this publicly on local ABC station, a news station on the evening news in Pennsylvania. I'll give up a point, as much as a point in a payout, just for a good buffet. I said all kinds of important things, and they learned from that, and they presented on that, but they actually put me on the screen for my one joke, which was fine. What's the best plan of attack to deal with Philadelphia new data update? There is no new data update, right? I mean, what you're looking for is changes in the gaming regulations. The casinos come out with new updates all the time. Software patches, security patches. This is something that's very much, they have to stay on top of security. But changing the odds requires a change. It's bracketed by the gaming regulations in Pennsylvania. And the casino could change what they're doing, but they can't go outside of the rules. So if they change the gaming regulation, which is easy enough to just go to the live channel, go to the live website and read it. If they change it, they change it. But that's a pretty fundamental change. So data updates happen all the time. And they're good. There was some things that changed that didn't matter to the odds once upon a time, maybe 10 years ago, where it didn't matter to the odds, but they went from coins to vouchers. And people were like, wow, that was a big change. And I was like, really? Really? You know, and it just shows a technology trend. I have an article that talks about the technology changes since the first slot machine was invented in San Francisco 130 years ago, almost 130 years. And the Liberty Bell by Charles Fay. And you know, I have a book up here on antiques, and I could show you one, but it's copyrighted, so I won't. I help people evaluate their antique slot machines that they have and pinpoint, you know, what to do and find out the what is it, the veracity, the background, the legacy of their slot machine. So anyway. It's written by Marshall Fay, Charles Fay's grandson. Anyway, you can, you know, look at the changes in the technology and history of slot machines, and you can see what's coming. You know, you can see the direction. If you're into, I mean, me, I'm sorry, I'm an aerospace engineer. I'm looking at the latest technologies, or did for 20 years. Looked at the latest technologies of what does our field offer, and what's the next thing? Artificial intelligence to tell you, and it's just a matter of moving forward and staying on the cutting edge, and that's my life, or that was my life, and I'm using that to stay on the cutting edge of slots, because this last year has been amazing. Since the pandemic has just been like, I don't know if you've noticed this, but it's just crazy. No new machines because manufacturing shut down during the pandemic. But people at the slot machine manufacturers do more than fabricate slot machines. They also had people working from home designing games. So all these amazing games were designed, they just couldn't be built. Well, a year after the pandemic, everything basically got up and running. And then a year after that, casinos were like, okay, you know, we've saved enough money from that horrible time when we shut down for 3 months unexpectedly, that they, you know, some casinos closed permanently. Because they didn't have enough savings to kind of like keep going, and so these casinos now, have you noticed? I never. I mean, I always had my favorite slot machines, and I would notice if one had left. But now I'm surveying casinos, particularly in the Reno area, but also Louisiana and Oklahoma, and going back and visiting and seeing that, you know, the machines are just gone. And it's just like, has this been happening the whole time? Well, not during the pandemic, but now you may see an extra amount of machines being replaced. And you may take that as bad news because it's a perpetual myth that it's bad news. But it's actually an opportunity, because it is not the machine that you that you found that was a winner. It was not the machine that mattered. It was location that mattered. So whatever was replaced right there, that's the machine to play, even though it changed, because it's not the machine, it's the location that matters. The casino floor is well mapped out by the casino. You know, this is where we put our machines that can be seen from a distance and people see to win on it. And that's what this location is for. And just because they switch out machines doesn't matter. And so you have to kind of get away from, I know the heart wants what the heart wants, and we all have a fondness for particular slot machines. I know some people are like dancing drums, all, 100%. Buffalo, 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 Buffalo. For me, it's Wheel of Fortune, and before that, 5 times pay, because I won so often on those. But that was at the casino where those machines were set to win in a highly visible area. So I I might play them nowadays. I certainly look at them at fondness, and the Wheel of Fortune symbol comes up, and I kind of catch my breath. But I don't think that I'm going to win on it unless it's a highly visible machine. Yeah, and being able to discern the difference is, part of becoming on our slots journey, becoming something other than a newbie, and just kind of be aware of what's possible, what's going on. So yeah, I hope that these things are helping you. From all the comments, from all the emails, from all of the membership conversations, it is, and I'm here for you. Another news, I have applied for. Monday will be 3 weeks. Applied for 11 jobs, engineering jobs in Reno. 2 have given me a rejection while out meeting with me. One has one I was telling you about last weekend, has decided to go with an intern. It's just like, so the Tesla and this place are basically going with people that have no experience on a job posting that has nothing to do with what you learn in college. Okay, probably dodged a bullet there, and moving on. And so the other day, I got turned down by the one who wanted to intern instead. And then like 4 hours later, I got another request for an interview, and I had that yesterday. And it was awesome. And they're going to proceed, and we will see if, basically a lot of first dates. I do hope to get the second base. Wait, perhaps this is a bad analogy. We shall see what happens. Tom says, as machines age and lose novelty, do the algorithms change even if it's in the same location? Why would it stay there? If you go to, I was shocked. I went to, was it Coin Combo? It was the one with the Pegasus, I think it was, machine at Silver Legacy in downtown Reno, and it was next to the table game area. I was saying to a client, it's this one or this one or this one, because they're all pointed at the table game area. He came back at 4 o'clock the next morning and played all 3, and obviously found this Pegasus, no, Peacock version of a Coin Combo, was, winning money hand over fist. And so I had another paid tour of Reno Casino, which I offer. Just email me if you're interested. We'll set up a time that works for you and me. And I went back like 2 weeks later, and it was gone. And not only was it gone, it was replaced by old physical real machines. But it still applies. Yeah, what's the casino thinking? I don't know. Did they not have anything else to put there? Why did they remove that machine? It's all sort of like, you can dig into what the casino is trying to accomplish, but really sometimes it's not great decisions. I don't there's casinos that will like give you a hard time if you win, and that person goes out and tells everybody on social media what exactly happened to them at that casino, and the reputation of the casino decreases. Was that smart of the casino? No. Now they have a reputation, a public relations problem. So casinos can make mistakes, and maybe if the executive was there, would say, no, don't do this. Treat people like rock stars. But sometimes casino employees choose to do something other than what they're trained to do. Yeah, to help the casino. And I think that casino employees are so hardworking, but they're also not told a lot about what's going on. Magpie and I were talking about, she's in Slots Labs, and we were talking about Las Vegas airport. And if you talk to the slot attendants at the Las Vegas airport, they're great. And why are they so different? Why are they so much better than casino employees? Well, that's it. They're not casino employees. They work for the airport authority, and their job is to be a slot attendant on the machines in them. And so they're not casino employees. So it's not the same restrictions that casino employees have, which is like if a casino employee tells someone to go home, stop, stop, gambling, go home, you've spent too much money. If casino employee says that to somebody and they're caught, they can be reprimanded and fired. But the Las Vegas airport people will tell you which machines they're winning, and there's all useful information. And Pennsylvania is it's been a while before the pandemic, years before the pandemic, where they approved having a satellite casino to the major casinos in Pennsylvania within like 15 miles or something, just a smaller version. But they also authorized casinos to have slot machines at airports, but they would have to come to a deal with the airport authority. I don't know if that's happened yet because I haven't flown into a Philadelphia or Pennsylvania airport. And so as machines age, the internals don't age. The casino does not have old machines from the accounting system connection. That box inside the machine is as new as anything else. It's replaced, upgraded, retrofitted, whatever you want to call it, so that it matches every other. And the physical reels, the symbols can fade, and can be an older style, and all of that. But just, you can take my word for it on the internals. But if you look on the outside, if it's a very old machine, it used to have LED readouts on the player rewards card when you'd put it in, and it used to be ... John, hi John, ... and that has been replaced with a touch screen. On a touch screen which did not exist at the time that slot machine came out. So you can look at it and go, if they replace that, they've done something, popped in a new one, retrofitted it on the rewards club, because all the slot machines in the casino will be accessible as accessing the same rewards club in the same way. And it's the same way with the internal accounting. So even though it looks old, that portion that connects to everything in the central server, that's the same on everything else. It's whatever modern one they have, that's what they have. Yeah. Otherwise, they'd have multiple systems in place, and that's just talk to any accountant, and you want to watch them just go like pale. Tell them something like that. Well, I think they have multiple systems, and they'll, no, that's so bad. Robert says, here is Philadelphia. And Robert, if you put the hashtag question at the beginning, I can spot it instead of it being a comment. Here is Philadelphia is cutting floor space for storage and removing the slots from that area. Does this make any sense to you? There are a lot of casinos that are reducing the number of slot machines. You can look at state gaming reports, which will tell you that many of them will say how many slot machines do they have at a casino or a state region or in the state overall. And you can see it's been dropping a lot. But they're just kind of recognizing that more is not necessarily better. A lot of casinos have spaced out slot machines, so there's greater distance between them. But before the pandemic, there were as tight as you can make it. Remember your chair getting bumped in the back when, because it's just, let's just see how many we could pack in there. And because they thought that was how they make money, and not realizing that comfort is huge. Or some not realizing that. And so, make better use, more sophisticated use of the casino floor. Yeah. But usually I don't believe that they, if it's permanent storage, you can see the Indiana state returns talk about how much profit, not how much money they make in revenue and what they return to the player, but how much profit does a slot machine make? $518 a day on average at their casino at Indiana casinos. So 518, let's make that per day times 30.4, which is the average number of days in a month. That's $15,747 per month profit, straight profit. I mean, they might have to pay taxes on it. And that's for one machine. If they have 5, that's $78,736 per month for 5 machines. And if you have a storage space which would take 5 machines, they are losing nearly $80,000 a month. So there's requirements for employees to have a break room, and they make it as small as possible. Hot bunking, whatever you want to call it. You were in the Navy, Robert. Just use terms that you might be familiar with. Not everybody can take a break at once because there's not enough room in the break room. Because 5 more machines means $80,000 in profit per month. Let's see. The facade on the outside has been changed while the internal electronics has been updated. Thank you. Correct. Yeah. Not all the internal electronics. The motor is still driven by the same switches that it came with. And on modern video machines, there's a whole how to run a big video monitor electronics. That's kept, but there's a portion of the electronics which has to do with odds and reporting and compliance, and it's identical on all of them. Casino reward cards have changed. Don't even get me started on MGM. And Robert says Hard Rock Atlantic City has way too many machines in one area. That's just the old style. I mean, you are more knowledgeable than a lot of casino employees, because they're not told much. It's not part of their job. Somebody makes a decision, they enter it into a computer. Maybe it's a consultant from the slot machine manufacturer, not even on site, following instructions from the CFO, the chief financial officer, and they enter the program into the central server, and no casino employees involved, just the leadership team. But you can still get good information from the casino employees, but it's not, if you talk to slot techs, and some of them have YouTube channels, don't listen to what their opinion is. Well, I think that the executives would choose to do this or never choose to do that. What do they know about executives? Do they have an MBA? That one? No. And so they could guess, and sounding confident is great. But if you, want to learn what's going on, just consider that it's a business, and what they might want to do. And if you kind of review the history, I'm sorry, it's just being educational. You are better than, if you take my fundamentals slots labs course, you are better than the casino employee, because they're not told any of this. I've had some, there is a that's up there. There is a few slot techs out there, and particularly ones that comment and say, I know this and I know that. But honestly, they're just trying to get credibility based on their job and what they've made of their high school diploma or GED. And I respect what they're trying to accomplish, but it's again not about going into this for the money, but going in this to help people. That's the people who stick around, and it's really you guys are really good at determining the difference. Oh, wow, that person is obviously, and so yes. So if you are going to the casino, you might be the one that knows the most. Particularly if you've taken my fundamentals course, and certainly if you've taken my advanced course. Right. So, question. There's a comment from Penta Black. Pachanga. Yeah, it's crazy how much updates they've been doing. Pachanga, I mean, all of the casinos that I've been going to, Pachanga Casino has updated more than half their slots, brand new ones. Morango Casino is in the process of remodeling their high limit room. Lots of changes going on in California casinos and in Reno. And part of what's going on in California is that Reno started investing before the pandemic in making everything better because they were devastated by the tribal casinos that opened in California a decade or more ago. And now they've got their feet under them and come back and said, well, those tribal casinos are getting old in California, and so let's win back all these people. And there's so many people moving from California realizing that they can sell their shack for $3 million in California and buy a 5-acre spread in Reno for $1 million. And so they're like, honey, we're moving. Kids are out of school. Now we're doing this. And Lisa says, I Pinta Black updates. Yeah, it's an interesting time. Just considering since the pandemic, right? Question from Lisa. I spent a nice chunk of change at Harrah's in July, more than previous months, and they actually decreased my free play in August. What? Why? There's a couple of things that can happen. How much did you spend per day? Because if you go in and make a $20 bet, sports bet, on the app, that brings your average down. Like, let's say you go into the casino the next day and spend $500 playing slots. Well, 20 plus 520 or 500 is 520. And so your average daily theoretical is not 500 or 20, it's 260. And if you went to make a sports bet of $20 on 2 days, and then on the third day you went in and played $500, then it's down around $100. So that's how you can decrease. The other, your free play. Also, if you're not doing any of that, if you just went in, if you're using my methods and you're winning, your free play will decrease because you're walking out with cash. I hope that you're walking out with cash. If you put it back in, actually your free play shouldn't decrease if you put it back in. So walking out with winnings can reduce your free play because you walked out with winnings. Sorry, there's consequences of winning. You need to learn how to get out. If you don't, your free play won't drop. But if you do, and I hope you would, then no more free play because the casino's not making money off of you. Yeah. There's a couple of techniques that you can do. Don't use your card if you go in to, spend $20, and not, although they are getting hard about not using your card. And I have cat fur on my hands. And yeah, so you can manage your average daily theoretical, where before you didn't have to, because all you did, if you just lost, then, but everything changes when you start winning. Consequences. Sorry that happened. That's my guesses as to why. Also, they like right after the pandemic, like Florida's monthly return statistics, they talk about how much free play they give out, and you can track that, and it went to zero from like 3 million a month to zero in the months after the pandemic, and everybody was like, "Where's my free play?" Well, casinos saving money by not giving it out. It doesn't cost them anything, but people use it to win, and that costs them stuff. So yeah, yeah. I hope that all helps. And hi, Homer. And let me see. Homer has a question. I went to Hard Rock Tampa Monday night. Machine opened up while I was playing. Slot machine attendant came and wanted to shut it down. I suggested that he hold the door closed and keep playing. Right? Smart man. Yep, I'm winning here. Back off. I'm winning here. Okay. Okay, that's it. Thank you much. Thank you so much for your um, yes. Thank you so much for your time. Please enjoy August. Who knew it was going to be getting here? There is going to be here a video on a demo video from one of my casinos in Reno for you to look at, and it shows how to use my strategies, mostly the 5-spin method on highly visible machines at good times of the week. So please have a great August, and I will see you next week. Bye.